Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. It is Inside the PFL, Season 7, Week 9. I am a former champion, El Zubador, Joe. Joined back here again. Manny, it seems like you're kind of like week in, week out with this here. What's going on with that?
I don't come on when I lose.
Did you watch that episode last week where we were just
I'm just very shameful, and I just hide, and yeah, that's it.
Because me and Mario shit on you a little more than we should have, I think. But
no, I didn't. I purposely didn't listen. I was never going to hear the end of this. So, I deserved it. I deserve it.
Manny, it is week 9 here. It was week 9, the last week of the Conference Cup here, and I gotta ask you, what did you think about the week that was?
I really like how close all the matches were. I mean, the majority of the matches were. Some of the odd sets came out. I really enjoyed Dan and James' match, though. I think I enjoyed that the most.
That was definitely a fun one. But we'll start off, if speaking of too cute a set, jump right into that with, see, Manny, I face my losses head on. Here I am, sneaky over Joe, +4, a bad loss. Mostly because, I shouldn't say mostly, because I did make some weird plays, but the Mega Altaria set that I brought, I did not really expect Sneaky to let me get to +3 with Dragon Dances. I probably could have kept going. That's the other thing. I could have kept slamming it, but I did not. I had no investment into attack because I wanted special attacking moves to get rid of Tangrowth. And I put everything, and my plus nature, I was Rash, I think, which is like minus special defense, plus special attack. So I wanted all of that just because Hyper Voice was a 2-tap on Tangrowth, and I wanted that option, just in case I was running into like Rocky Helmet damage or something. And then it creates a bit of a problem when I am staring down Landorus Therian, and at +2, because also sometimes you forget about Intimidate. Intimidate is a thing. +2 did not kill Lando. And Z-Fly killed Altaria. And then, now you see, this happened to Mario. This happened to Mario, too. Sneaky sometimes does not know as much about the game, so he hits Rock Slide just because. He's like, oh, Altaria, still a flying type, right? Yeah, even Mega. Cool. So now I look like a fucking dingus because...
Yeah, that was pretty much the battle right there. Like, he was pot committed. He was not moving in front of you. You could have went to +6, and then could have thrown all the calcs out the window. We had that conversation. I don't know. Like, if you're gonna bring the Dragon Dance set, I think you bring
physical.
The other,
yeah,
yeah, and then you just rely on Hyper Voice to do something. I don't know, but.
Right, it was a little too cute of a set, I will admit that, and then of course my 2 Pokemon that were faster than a fucking banded Sock, were Hitmonlee and Cryogonal. Hitmonlee, who died fairly early on because the other mistake that I made was I had 2 spinners in that match, Manny. One of them was holding a Choice Scarf, the other was holding a normal gem, so I could have got rid of the rocks up against Mega Blastoise with Hitmonlee, but I didn't want to get Scald Burned. So I decided to hit Fake Out instead.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You should have got that normal gem rapid spin off. Man, the power. You would have done 2 damage.
It was a rough choice because I changed Cryogonal to Choice Scarf fairly late in the game. Volcanion was Choice Scarf for a while, who would have been a lot more helpful. Not that, Volcanion was pretty okay, but he wasn't going to do very much against, a Sock that's thrown around fucking banded close combats.
I feel that like everyone kind of gets in that position like late game, and they kind of look at their remaining Pokemon and they're like, I should have probably saved this guy and got rid of somebody else.
Right. I wanted to for some reason I was like, I want to save the fucking 25% damage I'm going to take on rocks if I switch Cryogonal in here. And because I had Freeze Dry there. Freeze Dry, he probably, no offense to Sneaky, he probably doesn't know about Freeze Dry, so I would have been able to cleanly take care of Mega Blastoise, and he was Scarfed, but also get rid of rocks in the process, hopefully at some point.
Oh, hopefully, but if you had, 1 spinner, but 2 spinners, Joe, come on, man. And then Choice, you have to keep your Scarf user until you need to kind of see where everyone's speed tier is going,
right,
and then assess so that doesn't happen.
You know what?
You just get outspent by Banded Sock.
I had one good match last season where on the very first play of the very first game of the season, Scarf Cryogonal beat out Scarf Lando. So that's basically what my plan was.
There it is.
I was playing the hits, and it was a hit that I was almost never going to get myself in that scenario again.
You tried, man. You tried.
But
anything would have been better than switching Mega Altaria there. Honestly, I would have just taken the roll because you were faster than, right? I would have just taken the damage at that point.
Yeah.
That battle might have been different because you could have 2-tapped and.
And that's the thing. I eat the Rock Slide, and it does like 30-40%, and then at that point, it's probably over.
Yeah, I think that right there that was the game.
Well, either way, I take my losses in stride, unlike some. Moving on, we got here.
Whoa.
I tried. Damn it! I thought I almost had you on that one.
All right, I take my losses like a real man. Okay, at the bottom of a beer bottle.
Moving on, we got Garrison getting the win over M1 +1, and I've got a little anecdote about the battle here first. For not the first time this season, we had so few rule breaks this season. I'm really actually proud of everybody, but
yeah, I know. It's like, oof. The last couple seasons where we had to rain down the hammer,
or at least like everybody who does break a rule, they end up catching it pretty early. In this one here, it could have been bad. Rampodos started level 100 and came out on like turn 4. The first 3 turns, I want to say, actually, all the turns played out exactly the same when they restarted the battle. It was, except the first turn he switched Sableye in from something else. But Zapdos versus Sableye, there's a fake out, so there's Rocky Helmet damage. There is a discharge that he gets paralyzed. The very next turn he gets paralysis, fully paralyzed, full para, and then dead. So it's almost like the first battle didn't even happen.
Yeah, that's not ideal to happen in the first 2 turns. You don't want that to happen on turn 3.
So the rest of this battle, I think, was just not necessarily bad luck for M1, but there were some things in there. Did he get fully paralyzed? Volcanion got fully paralyzed. I remember that. That happened to somebody else, though, that they got. I think it was whoever fought Murphy. Yeah, that happened to Gage, too. Ended up getting...
I don't think anything, like no other hacks happened in this game, I don't think.
No, but basically Scarf Magearna, it shows the power of Magearna there. He switches in Charizard thinking he's got himself a good deal up against Magearna, and then he eats the +1 Scarf Thunderbolt from Magearna, and then you think he did. Garrison said GG at that point, and it's surprising. I don't know if it's necessarily surprising. It was, I think, a roll at that point, but also... And one did tell me, even though he was scarfed, he did go timid rather than modest. That might have changed some things.
Oh, yeah, it's a bold. I mean, I guess. But like, who were you trying to outspeed with Tim and Magearna that modest Magearna couldn't outspeed?
Exactly. And at that point, Magearna was gone, and unfortunately, things also took a turn when he missed a high jump kick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get for rolling HJK out there.
I mean, you look at that 90%, it's basically like, think of how many times T-Wave is missed, you know? Think of how many times Toxic is missed.
Yeah, but you miss Toxic, you don't lose half your health.
I'm just saying, the 90% is fool's gold.
Right. This is why anyone who had Mega Lopunny will tell you, because I've had it, and I had the same thing. I didn't bring HJK on Mega Lopunny one time. I didn't want to pull that trigger ever.
I prefer to close combat, but that's just me. I'm willing to take that risk.
Sometimes. I don't think Lopunny gets close combat.
Oh, what do you run? What, Drain Punch then?
I think it's Drain Punches. So that's just such a drastic drop off of power, though.
That really is. I did like he did bring the Power Up Punch set after I believe Mario yelled it at him during the live broadcast last week, and
you're supposed to bring like Encore though too, right? I think that's what it is. I think that's the thing. I think it's Encore Power Up Punch.
I think he had Fake Out, Return, HJK, Power Up Punch, which, isn't bad. And I like how immediately, if he didn't miss that HJK, you see that Garrison hit Whirlwind. He's like, I need this thing to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Love it.
So that's definitely a good win for Garrison, though, going into the final week here. Garrison's got himself a shot at the playoffs. I mean, M1 does too, but
that's all you need. You just need a chance.
Yeah, a chance against Thomas.
Oh my God, just slam it home. God, just put him out of his misery.
Next up here, we've got Mike getting the +2 over Kyle. I gotta hand it to Mike. He won all the Conference Cup games this week against the other people that were in the top 4 last season.
Mhm.
And it's and yet he's not top of the division. What the fuck?
That's just Mike, you know.
Either way, uh, Mike's Arcanine had literally everything that he needed in this match. Kyle was just switching in shit, trying to do something, and fucking Crunch, Extreme Speed, Flare Blitz, HP Grass. On paper, that looks like a really stupid set, but against this team, it handled basically everything.
What a play, man. But I mean, I'm glad that someone listened when I was like, I should have brought HP Grass on Cinema. I don't know if Mike actually listened to that or if that was just Mike doing a good job team building. But I think Mike played this game like as best as you could, like as good as you can. So
Now, there's a bit of fraud going on for this. Mike calls it a bit of a fluke win because Kyle did fuck up his Hariyama set. Now, Manny, we've all been there. We've all had Pokemon with two of the same move on by mistake for whatever reason. Yep. Showdown doing that. This is the first time I've ever heard Kyle's Hariyama had 3 fire punches on it.
Was he high when he was making that? Like, geez, I remember the one time I brought like taunt on AV and Sinroar, and I got to the battle and I was like, oh, fuck me. But like, Jesus, 3 fire punches?
Didn't that happen in the match against Mike? Does Mike have some weird like fucking brain beam that makes people fuck up their team building?
I don't know. I think it might be because I'm pretty sure I think that was the game. It's totally it. Mike's cheating somehow.
He's getting in our brains. With that, though, and that's, well, I was going to say with that, Mike locked up his playoff spot, but he didn't, so
nope.
We'll get to that. Next up here, the surprise of the week, I think. I'm very happy for Rob getting his win, +4 over Mario. You and I both watched this battle live, and what a fucking show it was.
Oh my god. I remember texting you when Mario set up the Calm Minds on Slowbro, and I was like, gee, like that's game. Like, that's it. There's nothing else. They did it like Rob's ball. Like, he's done.
The exact quote was, if Mario plays this right, that's game. And this was like turn 6 or whatever.
Yeah. He had nothing to get around Slowbro. Nothing. And Mario was like +2, 3 at the time, something like that.
It was big. My only question to Mario is he hits Scald on Vespiquen when it comes in, gets the red card, the most clutch red card play in league history, because people are using the red card more and more. It's a good little, thing to just slap onto somebody. I feel like a lot of the times you don't want to make that gamble, and this turned out pretty much as best it could for Rob here. I want to know, why didn't Mario hit Psychic? Bug doesn't resist Psychic, so unless he didn't have it, but like Psychic might have killed there, right? Higher base power.
Maybe. I mean, he had Calm Mind, he had Slack Off, Scald, and then I don't know what the 4th one was.
Could have been Toxic or something, but yeah.
But I mean, would it have done that much more damage? I don't think. Like, what did
Vespiquen was left with like 6%. That was the thing.
Oh, yeah. See, maybe that 10 base power might have done a little bit more for him, but I mean, hindsight's 20/20 there.
What is Scald's base? Isn't it like 60?
80.
Skull's base is 80? Jesus, that's actually pretty good. Yeah. The fuck?
Yeah,
it's like Discharge, right? Because, Discharge is 80 and Thunderbolt's 90. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Scald was, like, really broken back in RS.
So broken that they didn't fix Scald. They changed how burn works.
Yeah, exactly.
And the real star of the show, I thought fucking Banded Close Combat Sock was going to do the most work this week, but give it up for fucking Head Smash Rockhead Banded Aggron. Oh my god.
Dude, I think after the red card, Mario was just shook.
He fucking Dragon Danced in front of it for some reason, rather than...
He Dragon Danced in front of it.
No, okay, you know what? I
Chatter instead of Boom Burst, which could have put some serious damage in even Aggron.
I mean... well, because, Chatter's still 4x resist, right? Yeah, so Boom Burst would have been the play there. Not to mention, the set that he had on Haxorus was really weird, because you expect, Haxorus, you look at Haxorus most of the time, you assume it's probably going to have Earthquake, right?
Not Aerial Ace. I don't know why the frick you brought Aerial Ace. Like, what the frick are you doing with that, dude?
Venusaur, who did not show up.
You're just like, I don't know, you're just like chaining Haxorus to a pole with Aerial Ace.
It was Aerial Ace, Outrage, D-Dance, and Poison Jab, so none of the options were good against Aggron.
Yeah, no. But like, you're telling me that did he do the calcs on that? Because like, you're telling me that like a +1 outrage was going to do less damage than aerial ace to Venusaur?
I don't know if he did the calcs. I believe Mario told me he made that team while he was in the bathroom, so that might have
Okay,
something
well
to do
then,
with it.
like, just that doesn't. Oh my god, no, because it definitely does. Because I remember who had Mega Venusaur the one year, and I had Haxorus, and I used Banded Haxorus, and like Dragon Claw was a 2-tap on Mega Venusaur. So like Outrage definitely would have been a 2-tap at +1.
Well, you live and you learn, and even then, Mario's loss here did not keep him out of playoffs, so
Yeah.
it's still alive. You never know.
Yeah, but give it up to Aggron though. Give it up to Rob and Aggron.
Making
Saving
those
seasons.
60 points. Oh, I mean, Rob's still in last place anyway. It doesn't matter, but getting those garbage time points.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Rob's playing season ruiner right now. He's messing kids up.
And then Mario turns things around using the shadow. They call it shadow battling. What is the name that we have for it? Assistant coach clause?
Assistant coach.
All right, there we go. Taking over for Mitch here, getting the +1 over Thomas. This is a match that I call the sad tale of both Mimikyu and Ursaring, because in the first few turns, Mario's strats get totally fucked up.
Yeah, like nothing that Mario wanted to do. Like Thomas was just, nope, get that out of my face. And like, if not for that blob of pink terror, Thomas would have swept the team.
Honestly, it's basically the sad tale of Mimikyu and Ursaring, but the horror of Chansey is the battle.
Yeah, like dude, Chansey's just. I hate Chansey.
Can we talk really quick about Thomas has brought Brick Break Salamence, I think, 5 times at this point. He really likes it, and I mean, you've got Infernape, dude,
Yeah. I think Thomas is just done, and I'm pretty sure he's just copying, copy pasta his team, and he's just throwing it in there.
I mean, Ursaring gets its Flame Warp knocked off too, which is hilarious, and Mimikyu getting burned after going to +4 almost. It's absolutely terrible, and it couldn't do anything to Vaporeon either, and it was the worst.
Yeah, just no bueno. But Chansey makes up for bad plays, so
we're finding that out here. Mike had said to me, I think I want to go with Chansey and Alomomola next season. This is a fucking nightmare combo. We need to find a way around this shit.
We're just gonna move them up so you can't get both.
But that's the thing. We can't, unless they're both fucking 200. Even then, you could build a team around 200 Pokemon. I tried this season. I think James has 200s at this point.
Worst case scenario, we just ban Chansey. Because, at this point, it's just anti-fun. I didn't have fun watching that. The only person who had fun was Mario.
Probably. And that's the thing, is you get a kind of schadenfreude from it, of just, enjoying others' terrible pain as you're slowly taking toxic damage to death as you're just sitting there slamming soft-boiled.
Right. It's not fun.
Everybody needs a wall breaker is the problem, I think.
Seriously.
You need to invest, high points into something with, fuck high attack. If somebody, Mega Heracross, I'm sure, does not want to... Chansey does not want to see that shit.
None. Chansey wants no part of Mega Heracross. Nothing to do with Mega Heracross.
Even a good, mixed sweeper or something. Maybe that's the thing. We're not boosting enough. When people have these Pokemon, you gotta bring boosting sets. But then you get Chansey, Alomomola, and Ditto for the worst team on the planet.
Dude, I hate this.
Okay. Final thought on that match here before we move on. Mario, even though he lost here, he's keeping Mitch's playoff hopes alive, because Mitch, currently the fucking 4th seed in... I don't know what the fuck's going on your side of the tracks, Manny, but...
Dude, we're just... It's like, you know the gif when, Donald Glover comes home with the pizza? You guys open the door to our side and just fire. And then, you just walk back out slowly.
Next up, we got Murphy getting the +3 over Gage. This was a weird battle to watch because there was a lot of fucking switching going on in this match. There was, at one point, Gage switches 3 turns in a row.
Dude, it was bonkers. Like, I don't know. And I'm just wondering, what was the point of some of those?
I understand, like, you're trying to get the double switches off, but that early in the game, it's like Quagsire comes out so something else can come in, and then you switch into, what would be good against Quagsire, so fucking, you switch out again, and then just Quagsire comes back in immediately once you switch into whatever's good for what just switched in. And it's, like, if somebody put rocks out, it would have changed some things.
Probably. I mean, no one, this league is just, sometimes, no rocks. No one brings spinners.
Everybody's...
It's like the Wild West out here, dude.
Is that the reason, like, going back to my thing a bit, like, you expect how people play sometimes. So, I switch out against a Lando who has not used his Z move. You expect how people play sometimes, so you assume you always bring Rapid Spin, you always bring Defog, even though nobody ever brings that shit. Sometimes I'll slap Haze on something just because it's like, maybe, just maybe, he's going to start boosting with this motherfucker.
No one boosts.
Like,
we're starting to do it more. We are starting to do it more.
Rob had for Alligator, and he chose like banded sets most of the time with it.
Yeah, that's questionable.
He definitely tried it against me. I remember, or no, was it Scarf? Either way, weird. Really,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Really, this was a match though that I would say after all the switching definitely went into Murphy's favor once. Now, I say for some reason, it makes sense. You don't always expect... It's one of those things that should be in the back of your mind. If you're staring down a water Pokemon, it's probably got Ice Beam.
Yeah, that's like the thing.
If you're staring down a rock Pokemon, probably has EQ.
Oh, dude, I just, I'm rewatching the battle right now, and this is hilarious. I'm at the, oh my god, everyone's switching. There's 5 switches in a row. Dude, that was great. Awesome.
And so Hawlucha doesn't have enough to quite do what it needs to do, because I believe it loses out to priority. Oh yeah, Shadow Sneak from Mega Gallade, which I was never one to bring Shadow Sneak when I had Mega Gallade, but that's a really good tech to put in there, just because a lot of times the way to get around Mega Gallade is having something faster than it. So you wear something down with Quaggy or whatever, and then when it's at like 20% health, Mega Gallade comes in, hits Shadow Sneak, and suddenly Mega Gallade's the fastest thing again, and you have nothing for it.
Yeah, dude, Mega Gallade is frightening.
I think that it was a good move that we moved it up to 200, because it's there. We could be in a situation where for the 3rd season in a row, Mega Gallade's in the finals.
I mean, he's a good Pokemon.
He is.
Definitely well deserved.
And definitely a good win for Murphy, who I believe locks up the division with this, because he is
good for him.
+7 ahead of Mike, so even if Mike kicks my ass, he's not going to get ahead of Murphy.
Good stuff.
Next up, we got your favorite game of the week. Dan getting the +3 over James here. James has said on this podcast that he just doesn't prep as much for Conference Cup weeks. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I think in this one, the main problem that he had was he gets Celesteela and he can't hit a fucking Leech Seed.
Yeah, those misses were really unfortunate, but I don't think they would have swung the battle completely in his favor. It really. Might have tilted some things every now and then, but I don't know. I didn't think they were that big of a deal as compared to his complete inability to kill Liefeld. Liefeld stayed along for 7 turns, way too long.
Any miss is disheartening, I think, even for a seasoned battler like James. And missing 2 fucking Leech Seeds on 85% accuracy, or 80 or whatever Leech Seed is, that's just not a good time.
Terrible. It's like missing a Toxic or a T-Wave. You're like, that's 100%, right?
I've missed 3 Super Fangs this season, and every time it's made me more mad than I need to be.
Well, see, no, but Super Fang is that's a big chunk of HP though. If someone switches in a full health, that's enough to swing a battle. But I get what you mean. No one wants to miss a Leech Seed, because it's supposed to just be automatic.
Yeah, he's got the and it's the normal kind of Protect kit with Celesteela too, so he's getting at least 24% health back too. So it can definitely change things there. In this, I do agree that I don't think it would have made it so James won if he hit one or both of them, but it would have made Celesteela much more annoying. And you mentioned it. The real fucking hero of this one was one Liepard, who was just doing the most. So standing in front of. How often do you want a Pokemon standing in front of a Alolan Marowak? Ever? Ever? Like ever. For like it's just like on the last turn of a trick room, Liepard is there. Liepard is pretty papery as far as Pokemon go. My question being, do you think James hit Shadowbone by accident?
I don't know what he was trying to read with that Shadow Bone, but I mean, it was a ballsy stay, but I mean, it paid off. So
It did.
I guess it's a good play because it paid off.
This is one of those things where in the heat of the moment, you're probably not thinking about it. Where, again, same thing where we could be saying, if I stayed in against Rockside, you'd be like, he could have used Z-Fly there. What the fuck? Why didn't he?
Exactly. And then it's he who made the bad play and you made the, but yes, it's just,
I made the
it just
ballsy stay,
depends
right,
on
exactly.
it depends on the results and how we look back at them pretty much.
We're sports commentating. We always play the results.
Yeah, exactly. We always know best, Joe. See, and that's why I don't come on when I lose. I come on when I win because then I talk down to people.
And yeah, Liepard was spreading T-Waves around. It again got rid of Marowak, hitting a lot of foul plays on stuff too. I wonder if he even had any kind of HP investment, given like, because foul play is always based on like the opponent's stat, right?
Yeah, it's based on attack power of your opponent.
Yeah, so that might have been the reason that he survived the Shadow Bone too.
Yeah, whatever he did, man, it was a great stay. But James he really got undone by Liepard. And like that's like at the end of the season, like Dan, if Dan makes playoffs and like Dan looks back at this Liepard pick and he's like, worth 60 points right there just for that one, like that's all you want in a lower tier mon.
Exactly.
Is one good win. That he does this. And then everything is golden.
It was it happened to you with Miltank one season, right? For Sapsip plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Miltank, Rob with Aggron, just one time. And you look back and you're like, solid pick.
Regice also as well, of course.
Yes.
Finally this week, we have here your battle here, Manny over Tristan +2. Now, usually I like to defer to you on these ones here, but before we go over to you, I want to fucking talk about 4 Pokemon. This sounds like a fucking like mindbender puzzle. 4 Pokemon are killed in 3 turns. How does it happen?
I mean, if you weren't watching, I don't think anyone would be able to find out. Like, dude, I was so like I'm sitting there and like I let off with my Scarf Rabbit, and I was like, you know what? U-turn. I'm faster than Glalie. He's not gonna click Ice Shard turn 1 in fear of me killing him with something. So, U-turn, bang that out, come back in with the easy read of Seismitoad, explosion. Like, oh, refrigerator explosion, fucking yes. Okay, so now I lost one of my checks to somebody, I forget who it was, and that made the game like a little bit harder. And then immediately, because I knew it, I was like, he's gonna go into Hoopa and he's gonna start hitting things, and so I was like, I need to go into my Scarf Rabbit. I gotta hope to God Hoopa's not scarfed. So I go into, and fucking Hoopa was scarfed. And then not only was he scarfed, though, Joe, he was Hoopa with 180 attack power and 70 special attack, whatever, the most ridiculous attack stats in the game. Hoopa clicks Destiny Bond. At this point, I'm laughing because I'm like, what am I in for? It was the worst 3 turns I've ever experienced in my life. Like, it was just so like, ooh.
I gotta ask, is Scarf D-Bond, is it the funniest play you can pull off?
Yes.
Because we had one time previously in the season here, the Defiant Sneaky in the only mon he was able to take from Kyle week 2, hitting fucking Scarf D-Bond on Frostlash to get rid of Weavile.
God. It's such a dumb play. So stupid.
Especially it's a full health mon that, again, like you said, it's Hoopa. Like, how fucking often are you going to see Hoopa has been so weird for Tristan. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's not necessarily devaluing Hoopa, but it's like you're looking at it like, this thing has got to do more for this guy. Come on.
I'm drafting Hoopa next season. I'm Unchained. Me and you have talked about my draft strategy for next season, and I am coming unhinged. I'm drafting 200 Pokemon. and people, I'm telling you right now, no one is going to be able to wall off my wall breakers.
I was gonna say you won't have to worry about Chansey or Momola.
No, because I'll just be able to blow something up twice.
Well,
and with the revamped Z moves that might come in the future.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh dude, I'm telling you, I have a strategy. I've really looked into it, and I think I can really make these two mods work together. And you know who they are, and it's just so frightening that they're both going to be on the same team. Like, who do you prep for, Joe? Like, who? Like,
I'm ready for
that'll
it.
Be for the preseason one. That'll be for the preseason podcast.
The other thing though, so basically at that point it's 4-on-4, which is very an interesting dynamic to have, and really you get the win here because you made a lot of big reads in this.
I baited out the Swampert with Coco, and then I switched out, and I tried to work back into Coco because I had Grass Knot in the pocket, and I knew that his first instinct was going to be Swampert again because I immediately switched out. So, like, if I had HP Grass or something like that, I would have clicked it. So I think I tricked him a little bit there. That's
a good thing to have, though, because again, we talked about this a little bit in the match with, I think it was Dan versus Sneaky, where, Zebstrika is out, in comes Garchomp, out goes Zebstrika. Zebstrika's out, in comes Garchomp, HP Ice.
Right, exactly. You kind of bluff something, but like people have to do a better job of scouting for things.
Right. I feel like that's something that we've been talking about a lot recently, or at least me and Mario talked about it, where if you throw Protect on like one or two Pokemon, just so you know what your opponent has, it might, but that's so, like, the 4 move slot syndrome becomes, then it becomes 3 move slot syndrome at that point, but Jesus.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Protect is because if it's a like predictable Protect, like that's very detrimental. You can get really taken advantage of that way.
Oh, yeah.
But like slapping out a random like Pokemon just like that just throws people through a loop.
But yeah, you got the win there, +2. I'm fairly certain you locked up your division, unless Dan +6s you next week, so don't get +6'd.
Oh, it's on, Dan. It's on.
So we've got a few things to clear up here before we continue. The first of which is the Conference Cup is over. We didn't really talk about the Conference Cup that much this season. I liked what we did last season, where there was a Conference Cup match every week, but we can't really do that because of the whole people and the scheduling. And at least I can say, Manny, the season I feel like is much smoother this season, even though the only difference is we have 2 less weeks of play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that everything went very solid and no hiccups, and the schedule was it was easier.
Yeah, it worked well. And so the Conference Cup, let's read out the results here real quick. James's division in the Conference Cup, I believe, has been last every season. Yellow had 5 points in the Conference Cup.
Give it up for Yellow.
Next up, we had Crystal, who had 14, which you guys also had a shutout week of Platinum giving you the business, which, 14's respectable. Emerald's coming in at second here. 16, we got, it was mostly the wins from this week here of me being the only person to give up a win to Platinum. God damn it. But Platinum, and I said this in the little post that I made here, Kyle has been on the winning Conference Cup team every time, so he is the anti-James. So if they meet in the playoffs, they're going to fuse together and become somebody who's going to go undefeated every season forever.
Oh boy. That's like impressive. Like, he's a great team leader, Kyle. And that really just goes to show that James, he really can't lead a team. He's very suspect. His leadership qualities. He's a very selfish player who blows up his own Pokemon. So
he's like
Tristan. I'm looking right at you.
What is it that it's the whole principle of how, remember in the episode of Pokemon where Ash got the Charmander? Who was it? Was it the guy with the Sandshrew? Where it's just like, no, you got to treat your Pokemon with respect. You got to love them.
Yeah, exactly, dude. we're not savages here. We're just battling Pokemon for fun and entertainment.
And James is blowing his up all the time. And yet,
seriously.
And yet look where he is.
That's disrespectful. Respect the pantheon of the game, James, okay? There's etiquette.
So, Platinum, getting the big win there. Congratulations to them, the Conference Cup here. Next, we want to talk about... the playoff picture was so fucking murky last week that this is really the first week we can talk about the playoffs, because everything is finally like, okay, well, we kind of know where people are going to be now. Because last week it was a fucking... I was talking to Mike at one point where it's like, okay, so if Mario wins and if this happens and this happens, then Kyle's out for sure. And now Kyle's in for sure. So...
yeah, all of that went out the window.
So looking at things here, the first seeds are basically locked up. Sneaky is, well, no, I say that, but, not exactly the case. Sneaky locked up platinum, at least. 7-1 plus 18 here. If Sneaky loses to Kyle and Murphy beats Rob, Murphy can get the 1 seed, so that is a thing that can happen. Murphy locked up Emerald, so at least the 1 and 2 seed, it just depends on where they're going. On the other side of things, James locked up his division, and Manny, you can... maybe. At worst, you're going to be a 3 seed, I think, the way things are going. So that's pretty good for you. I don't think...
I'm pretty sure, no matter what happens with me and Dan, we're playing each other round 1.
Probably.
Right?
I think so. With the way things are looking here. Well, no, because if you beat Dan, then...
he can go to 4?
He can drop out if he loses.
Oh.
It depends on if Garrison beats Thomas and what happens with... actually, if Mitch beats M1 and Garrison beats Thomas, Dan's out, and you beat Dan. Dan's out. So, but if Dan beats you, Dan's pretty much guaranteed in because he's got a good plus. How the fuck did Dan get plus 14 on 4 wins when he got a plus 1 against me? What the fuck? Wait a minute. Did he plus 6 Mitch? Did that happen? Did he plus 6 Mitch twice?
I have no idea.
So wait, he got plus 10 off of 2 wins because he plus 3 James and he plus 1'd me. So I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But either way, Mitch must have been one of those.
Our division's terrible.
Mitch can get in. Mitch is the 4th seed right now because he is plus 1 over Garrison. So if Mitch beats M1 and Garrison doesn't beat Thomas too bad, well, it's so fucking up in the air. The only people who I can say are out for sure are Rob and Thomas, who are their respective last place in the area of where we do things, and Tristan from his loss here. Disappointing season for Tristan. Got to the finals last season, finishing off at best 3-6. And Gage on the other side, who again, like Gage, good battler. Unfortunately, everything's too competitive on the other side. And I got into the playoffs once with a 4-5 record, but that's not happening this season.
No, we're too good this season.
How the fuck? That was season 4. I made top 4 because Rob tried to hit Earthquake against Yuxi with a banded or scarfed Pokemon.
I remember that. That was pretty funny.
Kyle's pretty much locked in at 3rd seed, I think. If he loses, I don't think anybody's going to get higher than his plus 16. It's pretty much bulletproof. Where things are weird is if I beat Mike, I'm not guaranteed in. If I beat Mike, but Mario beats Gage with a high enough plus, Mario's in and me and Mike are out. If Mike beats me, he's in. So everything's all over the place with the playoff picture here. And I like, there's even going into the last week, there are so many moving pieces that can happen.
Love it. I love that. This is one of the most competitive seasons I think we've had.
I've said it a few times. We've trimmed the fat, basically.
Seriously.
Nobody's been a free win.
No, and that's exactly what we want. I lost to Mitch. But that's why we play the games. For stuff like that to happen. And it's just, as not a player, I'm gonna take myself out of that role. And as the person who started the league, this is exactly where I wanted to be when I first started.
Exactly. And yeah, we're there, and the playoffs are looking exciting. There's a bright horizon coming up here, and the playoffs, if it comes down to it, it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of new faces in there too, which is nice to show that there's improvement in a lot of the people too. And so I'm excited for how the last week goes out here. I did write as my next notes thing, last place is decided, but I kind of already talked about that. Thomas's New York last place. Rob is our last place.
Pizza and beer is going to taste so good.
November 11th, final Sunday. Maybe we can make Rob buy us pizza on that day.
Let's go.
I think that it's time. Again, a pre-recorded segment is about to happen here where we're going to go out to Mike. Mike didn't seem that angry to me. Usually he's angry about shit, but this week I don't know what he's going to be angry about. So hopefully we don't get fucking tepid Mike. Mike's tepid rage. Mike's road tepid.
Yeah, come on now. I want to hear scathing. Get into it.
All right, Mike. Mike, you're on again for the road rage. Here you are, Mike.
Oh, Joe. Joe, what a week. What plays this week? What throws? So many people I thought were going to win that just decided they didn't want to win, I guess. I'm going to go in order in which they happened just to make life easier on my memory. So I'm sorry to do this to you. But first and foremost, Joe, what the fuck? You're sitting there. You're sitting there with Mushinara, and you're like, I'm going to hit Combine. And I went, cool, nice play. Dart pulls did like 30% damage to you. I'm sitting there going, here comes another Combine. No, I think you, like, healed up. And then you hit a weird protect or something. It was just, dude, when you got momentum like that, and they're going to do less than half your HP in damage, especially after the second plus, you just sit up and set up in their face. He was giving you the opportunity to just sit there. And then there was another point where you have Mega Altaria, and I get it, you talked to me, you were afraid of, like, the Rock Slide or something, or Z-Fly. I don't remember what it was, but Sneaky didn't do that. And again, when you're sitting there at, like, that high, you Dragon Dance, like, 3 times with Altaria? You gotta go for it. You gotta get those wins instead of letting this new guy, whose team you built, just smoke you. It's like losing to yourself, really, at that point.
I played myself, in a sense.
You got Garrison versus M1, which is just, I don't know what the fuck M1's doing anymore. I think that's the very definition of, again, I think you put him in playoffs last season because he's not performing in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't understand what's happening there. His team was so good. He was so good. His team is still so good, and he's just disappointing. Me versus Kyle, I don't think I should have won that. If Kyle actually set his Hariyama up right, it would have worked better in his favor. I ran some calcs. I'm pretty sure that win came down to that. I don't know how much that would have changed in the match, but like, EQ from Crook was in killing Hariyama, and that close combat was gonna murder me. So, I mean, I'm proud of myself, but Kyle, pay attention in Team Builder, man. That's all. You got fucking Rob beating Mario because Mario gave it to him. There's a point where Rob is in with something that's just, with fucking Rampardos head smashing through Mario's team, I think it was.
Aggron.
Or Aggron, rather. It was Aggron. He's head smashing through Mario's team. It's at low HP. What does Mario do? He hits Dragon Dance. Why? You're looking down a mod who just truck tapped your team, and Mario's logic is, I'm gonna set up in front of this. It won't kill me. No, you're dead. Fucking get that thing out of the way, then go for the kill. Unless, like, his setup didn't have a way to kill Aggron, then I guess I can give it to him, but that's just poor team building at that point. But, you know, Bobby at least got the win finally, so he won't be our first winless person, because not even Tyler holds that record. You have Mario battling as Mitch against Thomas. And it's just, the whole match is sitting there going, cool, Thomas is actually going to win this one. He's going to beat Mitch. Fuck you, Mitch. I hate you. And no, Mario sits there with Chansey, and Thomas can do nothing. Absolutely nothing. It lived with like 3% HP at one point, and then hit soft boiled, and then went, well, there goes the game. Thomas is about to lose, and it was just, I don't understand what the hell Thomas did this season. At least he's only got one more match to lose, and then he can either drop out or build a new team next year, because he needs to do something. I don't think Murphy versus Gage actually pissed me off that hard. Actually, nor did Dan versus James. James didn't make me mad either. He got fucked by RNG. How many leech seeds could you miss? All of them is the answer. Literal all of them. Manny versus Tristan is another case of just what the fuck are you doing? You had so much good momentum. 4 turns in, 4 Pokemon are dead, 2 on each side. That's hilarious. That is some James Heisted type bullshit that you pulled, and you still couldn't get the win out over Manny. I mean, you kept hitting EQ with Snorlax into Incineroar, and then the last time you do it, you fucking hit Facade and it lives at 3% HP. It didn't do that much damage to you, but like in the end, slamming Q in his face again. He didn't go to Gyarados the other times. What makes you think he's gonna do it now? Our whole league likes to play in circles. Y'all just do the same things over and over again. Oh man. Also, Thomas, don't ever draft Infernape again. Ever. Don't even touch it. Don't look at it. You don't know what you're doing. You're garbage. You suck. Win some games.
To be fair,
what a fucking week at throws, man. What a week at throws.
To be fair, Thomas didn't draft Infernape. Mitch did, and he traded it to him for Mimikyu.
Good. Drop it. You're making it look worse than I did. At least Thomas is using physical moves if he's going to use a physical move plus. He's making it look worse than I did, and I just pigeonholed it in the choice band Mach Punch and ripped through people's teams. Ripped through your team. And Thomas all last season, well, Mike only does one thing with it. It worked, buddy. So, I love you, but you suck, dude. You're garbage. Kyle, that was probably the most sportsman-like match I ever had ever. I've never seen a match where afterwards everybody's like, yeah, good job, you had some good plays. It was weird. Normally this league's all about telling you to go fuck off, and then this week there was camaraderie everywhere. You got Rob congratulating Mitch. No, I want anger, I want rage, I want people telling each other they suck. That's what this league is about. That's all I'm mad about this week, Joe. Stop throwing wins away. Could have been me and you both in playoffs. Instead, it's only going to be one of us.
Could have been.
Which one will it be?
Could have been. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I thank you for providing some more drive time rage, Mike.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye. So let's get into some commish picks here real quick. We had Mitch pick for you last week, Manny, because you didn't put in your commish picks before your soccer graduation or whatever the fuck it was, your lacrosse mitzvah.
I'm so mad
Mitch,
right now.
Mitch didn't
because not only did he fuck me up when he played me, then he goes and he fucks up my record. It's like he just rubbed salt in my wound. Fuck you, Mitch. Like, what the hell is this about? Like, oh god, I'm so pissed at him now. When I meet you in person for the first time, Mitch, you're gonna hear something about it.
You haven't met Mitch in person at this point? I've met him. I've met him twice in person.
I met him?
Maybe. I don't remember. I don't think you were there when I met him, so I don't know.
Oh, dude, he's dead to me. He's dead to me. How are you only gonna get 2 right?
Hey, the Conference Cup weeks are hard choosing shit, you know? I went 4-4. You and Mario went 2-6. So now it has come down to I am 1 behind you, 34-30. You are 35-29. Mario, the guest pick, Thomas, whomever, absolutely fucked. So it doesn't matter what they pick. But let's move into the commish picks for this week. Here we had Mike guest picking. I'm going to assume that he's going to talk about the picks that he has made during the Road Rage segment. And I got to tell him, Mike, we aren't at that part yet. Mike, you go in before the commish picks. So
Nice.
First up, we got James versus Tristan here. Now, I went, because I am so close, Manny, I went against my gut feeling because I can't have us all picking the same shit and, you getting one more than me because I didn't make a bold pick. So I got Tristan on this one because we're going to see little shines of the person that was 6-0 in the finals. And he's going to beat James because James has literally nothing to lose at this point.
I'm going with James because that's exactly why. Because James isn't to lose. And when James has nothing to lose, he's a scary motherfucker.
And Mike got James +3 on this one. Next up, we've got Thomas taking on Garrison. Now, it's a little tough for me to pick Thomas in this scenario, considering Garrison has a playoff spot on the line, essentially, here. So I'm going to go with Thomas anyway, because his team isn't bad. He's team building really weird. I don't know. Like you said, he might be out of it, but I think that if I told Thomas, if you're listening to this, you can knock out Garrison if you beat him. That might give him enough drive, so I'm taking Thomas.
I'm going contrary here, and I'm going Garrison just because fuck you.
And Mike has chosen Garrison as well. Next up, we've got yourself versus Dan here. Again, at this point, you don't really have much to lose. You're pretty much decided to be 2nd or 3rd seed. Not that, crazy shit might happen. You never know. Because Dan, I gotta say, Dan with those 2 Reggies, I really like the dynamic of Regice and Registeel on a team together. And you probably dealt with that the first time you played, but I think that Dan might do something in this one.
You're exactly right, Joe. That's why I'm picking Dan +5.
All right, well, fair enough. And Mike has chosen you on this here.
Oh, he chose wrong. He chose wrong. I'm gonna guarantee that Dan's gonna get a +5.
Strong words from Manny. Next,
Come on, Dan, mess me up.
Next up, we got Mitch taking on M1 here. M1's kind of floundered in the second half of the season. I still would pick him over Mitch. Mitch's team, though, I think is going to do a little too much. M1 doesn't have Pirouette, Meloetta in his back pocket anymore, so I think I'm going to take Mitch +2 on this one.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to take M1 because I am still very mad at Mitch.
Mike chose neither, so that's going to be a tie for that one.
Oh, I didn't know we could do that.
Next up, we got me versus Mike here. I gotta go, again, against my better judgment. You get to do it, I'm gonna do it. I pick Mike!
Well, you know what, Joe? I'm picking Mike.
Oh my god, you bastard. You absolute fucker. And Mike...
I'm hedging my bets.
And Mike picked me, so,
Dude, Mike's gonna go... he's wrong. He's all wrong this week.
Next up, we got Rob taking on Murphy here. I think that... Murphy doesn't necessarily have much to lose at this point. He can take it easy this week. I do remember, I believe, season 5, I brought a really shitty gimmick set against Gage in my final match, and I got absolutely rocked. So that might happen with Rob versus Murphy. So I choose Rob.
Yeah, you did. Was it Belly Drum Linoon?
Yes, Belly Drum Linoon was there. I had Focus, the Scope Lens, Sniper Kingdra, an Umbreon with no attacking moves on it, I'm pretty sure.
Oh boy.
Just awful shit, and I got like +4. It was terrible.
I'm picking Murphy.
And Mike picks Murphy as well. Next up, we got rematch from week 2 here. Well, all of our rematches from week 2. Sneaky versus Kyle, the only loss Sneaky has had on the season here. Sneaky's got 7 wins going into this week. 7-win streak. I think it's going to continue. I take Sneaky.
I'm going to take Sneaky too. I don't know why. He doesn't know how to play Pokemon, but he's doing it. He's just doing it live. I love it. I love everything he stands for.
And Mike has taken Kyle on this one. Finally, we've got Gage taking on Mario. For the sake of my own playoff hopes, I have to choose Gage.
I'm going to pick my bro Mario just because.
And Mike has picked Mario as well. So this is where things all come to a head, Manny. This is where we separate the Pokemen from the Pokeboys. This is the last dance, the last week of full-on Pokemon Fun League. And I have to ask you, Manny, is this the most important week of the season?
Joe, it all comes down. Everything that you learned before in the first 9 weeks, it doesn't matter, okay? This is week 10, boys, okay? This is a chance to punch your ticket to the big dance, okay? Let's do it. Get there, boys. Come on. The most important week of the season is upon us.
And with that, we are going to close the book on week 9. Again, forget it. Throw it in the goddamn incinerator. It's over for Inside the PFL. I am Joe.
Manny.
And everybody out there, as we're going into week 10, have fun.
Good luck, guys. Peace.